We have very seasoned professionals on this panel, but as much as possible, we'll try and break down this conversation so everybody can relate to it. And what are we talking about here? Is how can we leverage, the .ng domain to promote, to help in the development of the digital economy. Yes, I know a lot of things have been said today. My colleague was up here earlier in the session with Mr. Oluka to talk about, the benefits of the .ng domain. But we're going to just dive, a little bit deeper into it. So I'm just going to throw open, this discussion for my panelists. Let them just tell us the benefits of this .ng domain. I know that you have heard a lot since you've been here this morning, right? About the .ng domain. Yes? No, I can't. That's a very weak yes. Yes? So we all know what a .ng domain is, right? Do we know the benefits? Can somebody just tell me one benefit? Just raise up your hand and say, because I know that we've reiterated the benefits of having a .ng domain. Can somebody just stand up and just say, okay, this is a benefit? Anyone? Sorry, I like to interact with my crowd, so I know that. Because it's because of you we are here, actually, Thank you. Oh yeah, now. Oh yeah, get up. Just say something, shout. Say. There's a mic there.
I think the benefit of the .ng domain is that it gives us that unique authenticity to stand out, and it's cheap for us, and it gives us that as Nigeria, it gives you that unique authenticity to stand out among, let's say, internationally and all that.
Thank you. So what's your name? I think you have to come and recruit you to work with us. What's your name?
My name is Marvelous.
Marvelous. Such marvelous response. Please, a round of applause for Marvelous. Thank you so much. So this is proof that we've been here. So you know what? I'll just take it back to my panelists. Who should I start with? Ladies first, right? Who agrees? No. Sorry? Men. Ladies. Okay, if you want the ladies, let me just say aye. Oh, sorry, the ladies have the ladies first. So, Mrs. Omotala, so we've heard enough about the benefits of this .ng. How can web developers communicate these benefits to their clients, prospective clients, that in the event that a client wants to come, maybe a business owner, a startup owner, wants to start a business and they want to pick a domain, why should they pick a .ng domain? How can they communicate these benefits? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Greetings once again. Okay, so first, like our president said, .ng gives you that true identity as a Nigerian. We are in Nigeria and we need to identify ourselves with that. So having a .ng domain name gives you, and not just you, your company, your business, that true identity of being a Nigerian. And aside that, has another benefit you can get. It gives you this SEO ranking website when they go online in the region wherever you are and they type nira.ng, and you can see that because of the location where your business is, you're getting that high ranking. So being a Nigerian, being a business person in Nigeria, it also shows how you value your culture, how you value your heritage. So doing a business in Nigeria, you just need to have the .ng domain. It helps you as a person. It helps you to even get contracts. You're looking for contracts in Nigeria and they ask, what is your company? And they are hearing whois.com. Hello? How do you even want to get that? So being in Nigeria and you truly know what you're doing, having a .ng domain name will go a long way for you and also for your business.
Thank you so much. It was a round of applause for Mota. So you see, we were correct. We were right to start with the ladies, right? Right? Thank you so much, my fellow. Thank you for supporting us. So, okay, I'll just throw it back to Mr. Dare. Mr. Dare, Mrs. Omotola has said a lot. Is there something you'd like to add, to this? Just demonstrating the value, of the .ng, the value proposition. Why should I pick a .ng? Why should the startups here? Why should the business owners that I see in this room and our future Mark Zuckerbergs, why should they adopt a .ng domain? Why?
Yeah, thank you, moderator. as a web developer myself, I've had few interactions with customers, and also as a registrar, I've had conversations with web developers. And most of the time, the customers say, I want a .com because it's a global, it gives me my business, I want my business to be global and not to be local. Then we try to explain things to them and also explain to the developers that interface with most of these customers most of the time. The man that came in from ISPN that represented Mr. Goodman told us about how using a local .ng domain can even help your traffic. The number of people that will be hacking your website. If you're a web developer here, the kind of issues we have every day, especially people that are using WordPress, before you know it, attacks coming to your website, all these things. So, but if the traffic is local, if you are using a .ng domain and you hosted locally, it reduces the number of attacks that are coming to your website. Then, just like the CEO of Ugo said, Mr. Montola, the search engine optimization, yes, your business can be global, but if you start local, it helps your search engine optimization because people that want to do business with you, they are within the country. And Google or the other search engine will first of all bring websites that are locally hosted. So by the time people are searching for your business, and because they want to do a .com and they are looking for you in US, whereby you are here in Nigeria, your customers are here in Nigeria. So what does that mean to you as a business? Then now let's talk about affordability. Many years ago, when we started the web hosting business, .com used to be way cheaper than .ng, way cheaper. But today, you buy 3 .ng domain name with the price of 1 .com, and they are all from the same roots. They are all doing the same thing. They are all top-level domain name. Both .com, .ng, they do the same thing. They are all top-level domain name. Just that one is a country code and the other one is generic. So why not go with the customized one that is even more country code than the generic that everybody is using? You understand? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Derry. Round of applause for Mr. Derry. So let me come to my right. Ahmed, I've not forgotten you. Good afternoon. You're welcome. It's good to have you here. So yes, despite all these benefits, that my co-panelists have mentioned, I'm sure there are challenges, challenges in terms of building trust, the .ng brand. There's some challenges that web developers, might face in trying to sell this .ng domain. Is this something you can just expound for us so we know about this? Thank you so much.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. I think we've already discussed the areas where there's advantages of having, and I would like to just add to that before I jump into challenges. There's a saying, another way to know something is knowing what it is not. So .ng domains give you things that .com domain cannot. I'll give you an example. .com domains are currently full. It's the largest used extension on the web. And so there are squatters on domain names. You would want your business name and you would not find it. And some names have already been, let me put it this way, wrongly used. And so they have history and all of that. So it tends to affect a lot of businesses when they start. I've seen a case where someone registered a company because he found the .com available, and there was cases and they confiscated it because there was fraudulent activities with large bank fraud that happened in the past, and that domain was actually banned. And so I don't know how it slipped. He got the domain, and then that was how his business was affected. So in a nutshell, having a .ng domain gives you a lot of, first of all, beginner advantage, because you're in the Nigerian space. The first thing to do is to get a Nigerian space, and it is clean. That I can show. Technically, I am a technical founder. I can tell you for a fact that .ng domains has one of the cleanest space on the web. You may most likely register a domain name, a .ng domain, and you would be the first. And so the advantage gives you, you can build your search engine ranking. I'm speaking technically here. You can also have recognition. You can do branding easily. It gives you a lot of leverages to that. So the technical challenges people face, back to your question, regarding using the .ng, most of it comes from DNS. Sorry, so that I don't go too technical. Can I see hands of people who understand what DNS is? Okay. Can I have someone just raise a hand and just tell us what DNS is, please?
DNS is an acronym of the word domain name system.
Okay. So in a nutshell, DNS allows the routing of your web address. You know, when you have www.xyz.ng, what happens there is there's some routing that happens, and DNS provides all the connections and all the technicalities that happen behind the scene for you to open the website xyz.ng. So developers tend to have challenges with manipulating or using DNS because, of course, it's complex. It's one of the most complex things. As simple as it is, zone records, resolvers, resolutions, and all of these keywords, you'll be hearing them a lot and you'll be wondering, where is my website? Why is it not coming up? So I want to give you one thing, right? I personally have also tested the .ng DNS system with multiple domain names. Although Nira will not tell you that, oh, we can do resolver fast DNS resolution. They'll say, okay, give it some hours and all of that. But the reality is they are doing wonderfully well. Please, round of applause for Nira. To be honest, there are so many CCTLDs in the world. And let's just come back to Africa. 54 African countries, right? And there are lots of extensions. .ng really does well in terms of resolution. I have also seen registrations happen in so many other extensions that you would have to wait at least 24 to 48 hours. I don't know what they're doing with their DNS system, but to be honest, that's very poor. So you can look into the opportunity to use .ng domains to build solutions, to build whatever. And for a guarantee level, you can actually use the .ng domain to build anything you can use to build a .com. That I can guarantee you. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. A round of applause for Ahmad. Okay, so so that clap was very weak. So I'm going to throw it open. I want to know if you were listening to what Ahmad was saying. Ahmad listed like two benefits of using .ng domain. Who can tell me? Very unique, quite different from what Omotola and what Ebenezer stated earlier on. And I have a gift. I know it's not so much of sister, I promise you. I promise you. Thank you. Yeah. Please, can you give him the mic? Tell us your name and then.
All right, I'm Olaito Osman from Lagos State University. So, the two or some of the advantages he mentioned about .ng domain is, he said we can build our search engine ranking, and it also gives us this beginner's advantage. Okay.
Thank you so much. Please clap for him. And he also mentioned, just to add to that, he also mentioned the fact that you have a chance to register your preferred name, considering the fact that other extensions like .com, the more popular GTLD, they're there. So you have an option to register your preferred name, because most times you want to start a business today and then you have a name in mind, but I can assure you that that name is probably registered on .com. So the chance of that name being available on the .ng string is like 95%. So yes, that's another advantage. You clap for me. No, I'm not taking that. Thank you so much. Thank you. So I'm going to go to Baba Eja. I'm not forgetting you. And I think my last question for this panel will be the future prospects of .ng domain, looking at emerging technologies like AI, blockchain. Does .ng domain, does it stand a chance, in this emerging technology?
Right, thank you very much for that question. So if you look at how the internet has evolved, especially from the advent of the World Wide Web, when Sir Tim Berners-Lee invented the World Wide Web, it started off as just developing a website, a simple website in 1990, which then evolved, and then they started the launch in 1991. Since then, the web has transformed into Web 2.0, Web 3.0, and in Web 3.0 there are about 2 iterations, and now we're at the point where we have the semantic web, as well as introductions of artificial intelligence, machine learning, cloud computing, etc. So these changes have ushered in a new era of website developers, new breed of engineers that are targeting these kinds of platforms, different frameworks and toolkits for web development. So the future of the World Wide Web, or let's say Web 3.0, since we don't have 4.0 yet, is artificial intelligence, blockchain, machine learning. And I will give you an example of one of these things. Recently, there was a launch last week on something the government did called Service-Wise GPT. They integrated some elements of artificial intelligence into a government website that allows government civil servants to search for different material regarding the federal civil service. Now that was a great leap. If government is doing it, so you can imagine what the private sector is doing right now in Nigeria. And this is all powered through .ng domains. And I will also like to bring us back to your first question around the benefits. So it's very important from the government perspective that we look at sovereignty. Now the .ng domain gives us Nigerians a sovereign identity, indicating that this is a Nigerian-owned domain, and Nigerians are the ones powering it, contributing to it, etc. One of the things I would like you to go to is to go to onegov.ng, which is a solution used to automate or digitalize government processes, moving from paper to paper, from paper to less paper to paperless. So that is powered by the .ng domain, and it shows that the indigenous content or local content that we have indigenous developers that can develop anything that any company from the West or any other country can do. So I think it's very important that I talk about this sovereignty in more detail. Just like you have the country code +234, the .ng domain also is symbolic to that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So indeed, the .ng is positioned to actually, drive innovations in Nigeria. So I'm just going to, I don't know if any of my panelists, if there's one or two things you might like to add to the conversation. It could be either how, again, the .ng domain, we can promote trust, because I know that's one of the feedbacks we get is the fact that a lot of people have trust issues, not only with the .ng, just with anything made in Nigeria generally. So I would really like if our panelists there can actually address it. How can we build, the trust, the confidence, in the webmasters, the startups, the, businessmen here? Why should they see .ng and just have that trust and say, okay, this is the brand I want to go, for my business? Mr. Dari, I see you already.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sarah. We've been talking about the benefits, but it's important to also try to emphasize the challenges around .ng. Though Mr. Ahmad did justice to that already, but part of what the concerns that the customers, the end users, they're having, I mentioned one already, that people say my business is global, I don't want to remain local. Some of them are complaining about, when the GDPR and the NDPR of a team came up, we started having issues with who is privacy. Before now, it wasn't a challenge, but right now it's a challenge. And thankfully, during the last registrars forum, the NIRA registrars forum, we dealt around that, and NIRA is also trying to make sure that we have more of this who is privacy for the end user. So people should no longer be concerned about my data being there in the public space, is not being covered. And there are other challenges too that some people say that people will not want to do business with them because they are using a .ng domain. I would say that's not true, because even with a .ng domain, anybody from any part of the world can access your website and do business with you. So we have those challenges, and they are not really of a challenge if you look at it per se. So let's, as webmasters and web developers, let's educate our customers. Let's talk to them the advantage of .ng and how we're trying to help mitigate the challenges around it, and we're moving forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. With a round of applause for Mr. Dari. Batala, do you want to add to that?
I'll just pick it up from where Mr. Dari stopped. So I would also like to say, most people might not even be aware of all these .ng stuff, and I appreciate what Nira is doing today. And we expect to see more of this, create more awareness, let people see the need for these .ng domains. We have a lot of tech communities out there. Let them get into them, get a representative, do a lot of awareness, schools, students, let them know more about this. And with time, we get to see more people embracing the .ng domain.
Thank you so much. And indeed, with time, we would have the numbers. We will hit 1 million domain name registrations. Amen? So before I round up, I just want to ask, does anyone have a question? Again, we are here because of you. If you have a question, please can you just stand up? Yes, please just stand so that they can bring the microphone to you. Tell us your name. We would like to meet you before you ask your question. Thank you.
Good morning. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I just told my colleague that this question would have been better if I was not wearing the shirt. But last, I have to ask the question, right? So, I want to know what Nira is doing for security on the web, right? Because some of the challenges that people are having is because of the activities of our young people online, right? I don't know if anybody saw that that clip online of that guy that was wearing a mask that made him look like a white man. I don't know if anybody saw it. Anybody, right? On Instagram, one police station somewhere around the student area. So I don't really know. I just want to ask. I will not say I don't really know, but maybe I know small. But I really want to know what Nira is doing for activities, at least for people with .ng domains, right? So how am I going to be sure that I'm clicking on this .ng website, I'm going to be safe? Do you get? Despite what the owner did or didn't do, right? So what's Nira doing for that, so that we can now use that as another argument? Yes, that is clean, then it's also safe. Yeah, that's my question.
Thank you so much. Even though you didn't tell us your name.
What's your name?
Sorry, I thought I said my name. My name is Lillian.
Oh, Lillian. Okay.
Yes.
In terms of insecurity, one thing about technology is that I've come to realize that the other guys, as in the guy at the other side, they're always a step ahead of even the cybersecurity experts. So it is when they create the problem before we start looking for the solution. However, as technology is advancing, we've always tried to catch up and meet up and make sure that we are also updating our equipment, our tools and everything. So Nira from the technical angle is doing everything in their possible best to make sure that we don't have all these intruders coming in. And it's more safer using a .ng because .com is open. People know how to even access .com more than all this .ng domain name. They don't really give much attention to the CCTLD because they believe they don't have the numbers, unlike the .com. So this issue you are mentioning, as we have more issues like this on .com, even more than the .ng. But even for the .ng, you could hardly hear about this particular issues of insecurity because one of our major focus at NERA is the security of our equipment, our tools, our gadgets, making sure that our customers are safe online, making sure that there are no issues of concern. So and we'll continue to improve. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Jerry. Ahmad, you wanted to say something?
Yes, so I would like to add something in terms of security, and this is a general thing, not just regarding .ng domains. The internet itself, .ng domains, .com domains, everything. Security is a perception, right? And also, there's nothing called 100% secure. It doesn't exist anywhere in the world. I'll explain. Security is a layout to what you create to protect against an intruder or a person with bad intention. Now, the thing is, the person with bad intention will always try to find a way in. Your responsibility as a security person is to ensure that he doesn't get in. So it's a battle, and there's never 100% because as you're blocking, he's trying to find another way. I used to always refer this to my team that, even in your house, right, you have what we call the door, you have the burglars, and that's as security layers to not an intruder to come into your house. But if I come with a bulldozer, can they stop me? Can they? I'll break the whole wall, the door and everything and remove it and get in. So, but you might also add in another layer of security and put an iron something or a wall of bricks of something that the bulldozer cannot pass or something. You can keep adding layer. So we should always look at it that, back to the registry tool, that there's always going to be challenges. There's always going to be an intruder, and the registry will always have to stand up and always kind of protect against these intruders. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And before I move on to the next question, just to add to what the gentleman has said, I know that the registry currently is in the process of implementing the DNSSEC to add another layer of security. So rest assured, the .ng registry is not resting on results. We're also taking concrete steps to ensure that our customers, our clients are protected online. Maybe I hope that's a question. Thank you so much.
All right, so we have a couple of questions here, about 8 of them, but I'll be taking two. Is that okay with you? All right, so the first question here is from, Anonymous. It says, can I, as an outsider, register the .ng and still use it over there? I guess this person is not in Nigeria at the moment. Says, there is a global challenge on IoT at the moment. So how can .ng meet up to the IoT developers? What is the space of embedded system communication to .ng or Nigeria-based hosting?
So the first question says, you're not in Nigeria and you're asking, yes, you can use the .ng domain anywhere in the world. It's not restricted to just Nigeria. Anywhere in the world you can use your .ng domain. It's just an identity of you and your business. So you can be in Canada, UK, and still have your whatever .ng domain. It's going to work just fine. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And for the second question that has to do with Brother Joe, do you want to take it, since you are taking us through the future of .ng domain in light of the emerging technology, blockchain? Or did you get the second question?
The last part I didn't get. I understood that the question, the person asking the question spoke about global challenges on IoT and how the .ng domain can assist developers. Can you just take it from there again?
Okay, what is the space of embedded system communications to .ng or Nigerian-based hosting?
Okay, excellent. So if you look at how web hosting works, and when it gets to the layer of the domain itself, there's the web hosting provider, who could be maybe AWS, Google, Microsoft, from the cloud perspective, that provide IoT services. Then there's the DNS aspect, which IoT will use for name resolution and all of that. Then there's the registry themselves, who provision these particular domains. Now, if it starts cascading down all the way to the embedded systems, it has to do with the hosting provider first, before it even gets to the .ng domain. Now, within hosting providers in Nigeria, I'm aware that there are several that support embedded systems within their infrastructure. So one of them is Galaxy Backbone. The company has the capability for even artificial intelligence. They have several thousands of GPUs that support that. They have an environment for that embedded servers or embedded systems for IoT. And on the DNS aspect as well, they're able to accommodate all the traffic coming in from IoT devices, whether it's a handheld device or a device controlling, let's say, the air conditioning, environmental control, etc. So absolutely, there is space for this, and there is already the capability to accommodate this within Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Couldn't have said it better. Okay, I'm at your start.
Okay, so in addition to the IoT integration with the GPUs, I think you deserve around a plus, please, for the, because there's one thing we need to understand, right? Latency is a critical thing. Let me explain what latency is, because I can see some of us are young. Latency is ability for your computer. When you make a request on your computer browser, you click enter, you type Google, for example, you enter. What happens is your system travels, right? That connection, that packet you sent travels all the way to whatever data center that thing is, that address you're trying to get to. And it travels all the way back. There's a communication going in packets, right? And what happens is if you're hosting locally, right, that travel is shortened. So it makes it faster. It becomes in fractions of milliseconds. And the fact that they can provide GPUs and servers to support IoT devices makes a lot of things. And he did mention the fact you can actually do IoT integration of handheld devices and all of that. So wonderful. The part I want to add is, how does domain names come into that? I think the person who sent the question, he says, he talked about communication to .ng or the Nigerian hosting. So the hosting part is taken care of. Now let's talk about the domain part, right? So domain names, actually, somebody explained what a DNS is, domain name system, the routing of addresses and all of that. I guess this person asking this question, I don't know where he is in this set, but he's trying to understand that the communication happening on .ng is it possible for him to integrate? So what I will explain is that most of this boils down to your DNS configurations and also your application itself, like he rightly mentioned. The .ng does not stop you from having embedded system communication using domains. In my head, when I heard that question, it came to me that my sister used to, when she was in school, she did computer science, and she did an IoT project where you can actually switch on the lights in your house wherever you are and all of that. And she actually used some device, Raspberry devices, micro devices like this, and you need to enter IP address. I suggested, why don't you create something that people can remember? So you can actually create something like myhomeswitch.ng, just an example, and you can just go to your phone, pick up myhomeswitch.ng, log in, and access your lights and switch off your lights from wherever you are on your phone. So this is similar to what this guy is trying to ask. So that communication doesn't actually, .ng doesn't actually stop you from doing that kind of thing. You can actually do that, and with DNS you can perform those kind of configurations. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Any more questions?
Yes, we have. This is coming from Yaya Humar. It says, is NERA only responsible for the ownership of .ng domain name, or there is other organizations' domain names such as ORG? I think that's a question directed to NERA. Okay, so, but let me take the next one. Says, this is also from Duke Gift. So why should we trust .ng? And also, won't clients outside Nigeria feel that your website is a scam when it's a startup and it hasn't built credibility? This is from Sheon. Says, can I use the domain name I created with .com to create a domain name on .ng? Can I use the domain name I created with .com to create a domain name with .ng? Let me allow you to answer this three.
Okay. So I think I will answer maybe one or two from the question, and my other panelists can take up the other ones. But for the last question, can you use a .com to create a domain name on .ng? Is a no. You have to register a .ng domain name. .com, .ng domain name, they are all domain names. They are doing the same thing. So it's just like you having two boys, twin brothers, and one is Paul, the other one is Peter. So you're not saying, can I take Peter to be Paul, or can I take Paul to be Peter? It's a no. You have Paul, you have Peter, you have .com, you have .ng. So you have to register .ng. Then you can connect it together. You can redirect. If your website is on .com and you want to start using .ng, you can redirect it so that when people, even the people that already know the .com, by the time they are searching, the domain name redirects to .ng. So that's on that. Then,
sorry, Mr. Jerry, let me just add to that. So I think if I get what the person is saying, the person is asking, so for instance, if I have a domain called busayo.com, can I register busayo.ng on the .ng string? Yes, the answer is yes, provided that the domain name is available for registration. So yes, you can. So if you have a domain, a .com domain, and you want to have a similar domain using the .ng, you can, as long as the name is available for registration.
Okay, another question here from Mubarak says, please, how secure is the .ng site? If a real estate entrepreneur wants a domain name, what domain extension attached to the .ng should be used? I believe one say can be used.
Like what's SLD can a real estate company use, if they want to register a .ng? SLD, like what can be .com.ng? They can use .com.ng being a commercial entity.
You can actually use any depending on what you're comfortable with. You can decide to go for just .ng or .com. We have .net. We have .edu. .edu is basically for school. So if you're not a school or education stuff, don't bother because you need some document. But anyone you're comfortable, but personally, I would recommend the .ng because that would also give you more higher hedge. You know, it can be more expensive than others, but the fact that this is the main country code domain name, so I recommend that.
Thank you. And just to add to that again, so for instance, if your real estate company that you want to register is Ebenezer Dare Realty Company, you can either register ebenezerrealtycompany.com.ng, or you can go straight to the top level, which is ebenezerrealty.ng, which is what Omotala was trying to say. I hope whoever asked that question, I hope it's clear. MC, do we have any more questions?
Yes, there's the other question that is.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes.
Is NIRA responsible for responsible only to .ng and not .org and the other ones?
Okay.
And also, why do we continue to trust .ng?
Yeah, why should we trust .ng?
Okay, everything's
Yeah, we get that questions again and again. Why should I trust .ng? Maybe your partners, your business partner outside there will not trust .ng. You see, we Nigerians are the one that every time, by the time you go to the US, you see they promote their country, they promote everything that they do. So yes, it's normal because what people are seeing online is the negative side of Nigerian and Nigerian youths. So we have to start pushing the positive side that Nigeria is not what you guys think or thought it is. So Nigeria is a good country, Nigeria is a good place to do business, and to even partner and do business with Nigeria is even a better place to do partner business and do business with Nigerians. So you are the one that will tell your partner, you are the one that will tell your customers that no, we are not what you think. For instance, at Oslag, we have foreign customers. We have customers that are not in Nigeria at all, but they need a .ng. And in fact, this year we've had countless number of them that have registered .ng and they pay through international payments. So even foreigners are trying to register on .ng. So you that are a Nigerian, so it's you are the one that will still do the job. You need our web developers and webmasters need the right education so that to educate either your partners, either your customers outside the country or within the country, to let them know that there's no issue with you using a .ng. It does not affect your business in any way. So it does not affect it in any way. And NIRA, like the other question, NIRA is responsible to .ng, is the country code top level domain name. The other extensions, they have people that are managing them. .com, if you go online, you can see all this information. .com is managed by VeriSign. .org is managed by Internet Society. We have people that are responsible for each of these domain extension. For NIRA, NIRA manages everything that has to do with .ng. So it can be a second level domain name. We call it SLD, like .com.ng, .net.ng, .i.ng, .school.ng, .edu.ng, and so on and so forth. Or a top level domain name just like the .ng. So everything that has to do with .ng is NIRA, is our brand identity. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Ahmad, you wanted to pick one question?
Okay. I will just round up the two other questions that have not been touched. Security of a website using .ng, somebody asked about that. And then I'll add to Mr. Dare's ownership domain, and then the credibility of .ng. So I'll just kind of summarize everything in a short note. So for registrations, domain name registrations are done in hierarchy, right? There's something we call registry, which is like the NIRA. Somebody asked .ng. NIRA is the registry for .ng. Every extension you see, there's a registry for it, and that's how the system has been designed from the inception. So you cannot have a domain because there's a central database where these names are registered. And in addition, I think somebody was asking about the security of the website. When I come to that, but domain registrations are done in a tenureship. It's not like I register a name and it's mine for life. No, it's a system. You have to own a period of time where you own a domain, and if you don't renew, it elapses and it becomes someone else's, or it becomes free for anybody else to register. And this is also across board. Any domain name you're registering is the same thing, whether .com, .net, .org, whatever it is, it's still a tenureship. In most cases, it's for Nigeria, it's a 1 year to 5 years. Some extensions do up to 10 years, but I don't think there's anybody that does more than that. So because you cannot own it forever. And the most important thing is to remember, I always advise anybody registering a domain name is to do minimum of 2 years. If you're serious with your business, if you're serious with what you do, it shouldn't be for 1 year. I mean, that first year is usually a critical one. So just do 2 years for your safety. Then credibility. right? Somebody was asking, wouldn't he be considered as kind of maybe a fraud or maybe a bad guy because I'm using .ng, maybe because I'm from Nigeria? I still borrow from the words I used for security. It's a thing of perception, right? In every country, quote me, in every country, there's bad people. Every. Superpowers. I don't want to start mentioning country name, but every country, yeah? There's bad people and there's bad behaviors, there's fraud, there's everything you think about this in Nigeria. In fact, there are countries do worse than Nigeria. There are countries do worse than Nigeria. So it's a stigmatization thing, the media thing, and all of that, and I don't really like to even go into that. If you are a proud Nigerian, please raise up your hand. If you are a proud Nigerian, oh my goodness, I'm not seeing everybody's hands up. I am hurt. If you are a proud Nigerian, please raise up your hand. Woohoo! Thank you. See, this is our country. We cannot have another one. This is our country. I repeat, we cannot have another one. So we have to be proud of what we have. .ng domain will do as good as any other country's domain name. So don't feel bad about being Nigerian or being on .ng or anything like that. Be proud of it and show the world that thing that they think we cannot do it and flash it to their faces. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And
I think that's where I will stop. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And on this note, I am proud to say thank you to my panelists. Thank you. I think we've done amazing. Please, a round of applause for them.